You had to, like so many other cabinet members have referenced, rebuild the perception of America. And at the Department of War, that meant reestablishing deterrence. What happened in Afghanistan, what happened in Ukraine, a war that never would have occurred, what happened on October 7th in Israel, never would have happened under President Trump. So as a result, we're having to rebuild how our enemies perceive us. And when President Trump said, we're not getting a nuclear, Iran, you won't have a nuclear bomb, he meant it. And we sent those B-2s halfway around the world, and they never noticed. When he said, we're not going to tolerate trafficking drugs anymore in our hemisphere, we treat them like the Al-Qaeda of the Western Hemisphere, he meant it, and we're executing that. When you said, Mr. President, we're securing the border, the military was proud to do their part alongside Homeland Security to do that. Same thing with Iran right now, ensuring that they have all the options to make a deal. They should not pursue nuclear capabilities. We will be prepared to deliver whatever this president expects of the War Department, just like we did this month. No other military in the world could have executed the most sophisticated, powerful raid, not just in American history, I would say in world history. What those men did, going downtown, another country, the most secure place in the most secure base in the middle of the night, without anybody knowing until those simultaneous bombs dropped 3 minutes before the helicopters dropped. No other country could coordinate that. No other president would have been willing to empower those warriors that way to be that effective. And that sends a message to every capital around the world that when President Trump speaks, he means business, and we are reestablishing deterrence at the War Department, Mr. President.
Thank you. Great job you're doing.
The reality is that I believe the Iranian leaders have decided to make sure that this is not going to be the case. I think last time Iran was attacked, Iran was surprised. Iran was attacked in the middle of negotiations. No one is going to be surprised this time. I think the planning is to have at least 500 casualties under the site. So you're going to have many American soldiers in body bags, and this is what Iranian leaders have been telling the other side, and hopefully they don't think this is a bluff, because they're going to see those body bags arriving in the United States if they decide to attack Iran. If Americans attack Iranian infrastructure, I think the infrastructure of regional countries will be hit, because these countries have, some of them, not all of them, the countries that have provided bases for the United States, and U.S. uses these bases to attack Iran. So if you're a country that has provided a military base to the United States, if U.S. hits Iranian infrastructure, the infrastructure in these countries would be attacked. You cannot have a situation where Iran is only the victim. I think the whole region is going to be blown up.
2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. I want to give our praises and honor to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, QADASH, forgive me the spirit, to do this lesson. This is war news with Iran, as you've seen the clips before. Okay, it's getting more serious and more serious and more serious. All right, and when you come across these scriptures, when it talks about fervent heat, fire, things getting burnt up, okay, you have to talk about Iran, all right, and the small hats and Babylon coming together for World War III, all right? That's prophecy, okay? That's what you're watching right now. Now, when you go back to what Trump said, he tweeted, this was, I think, a day ago, maybe 2 days ago. I'm going to read it. It says, a massive armada is heading to Iran. It is moving quickly with great power, enthusiasm, and purpose. It is a larger fleet headed by the great aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln than that was sent to Venezuela. Like with Venezuela, it is ready, willing, and able to rapidly fulfill its mission with speed and violence. Man, the scriptures talk about Esau moving forward with great violence. Okay, so it says with speed and with violence if necessary. Hopefully Iran will quickly come to the table and negotiate a fair and equitable deal. No nuclear weapons, in all caps. Now, you notice the past week has been about protecting, they say, right, about protecting the Iranian citizens, and they're killing them, and et cetera, et cetera. We're coming to help you. And as soon as they got all this artillery out there, okay, and more is coming. And by the way, you don't send that much artillery, okay, to one part of the world and don't do nothing. Okay, like you saw in the clips before, okay, they went down the line on when Trump says this, he does it. When Trump's, you know what he does. That's a good thing for us, right? Let's go back to it. So in all caps, it says no nuclear weapons, one that is good for all parties. Time is running out. It is truly of the essence. As I told Iran once before, make a deal, in all caps. They didn't. And there was an Operation Midnight Hammer. They'll go that hammer to earth again. Okay. Think about it, man. There's a reason why they keep pushing this hammer. But who was pushing it first? The prophets, through the spirit of YAHAWASHI. YAHAWASHI does all these things so that you can connect and say, oh, those are the prophets. Okay, all these different nuggets, man. That's obvious. Okay, and one of them is the hammer of the earth that we've been teaching for years. So it says Operation Midnight Hammer. Okay, a major destruction of Iran. That's when they came in and destroyed the nuclear facilities, they say. Okay, and remember, around that time we was telling y'all, don't be fooled by this ceasefire. Don't be fooled, man. Okay, the Lord's will is going to come to pass. Okay, we were saying that, and you see it's moving forward. Okay, so that ceasefire was bullshit. All right, don't be fooled by any ceasefires, man. Okay, World War III is about to pop off fully. Okay, it says the next attack will be far worse. Don't make that happen again. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Okay, so you see that was 2 days ago. All right, now they're saying this, right? While they're moving all this artillery. And that's why you got Iran saying, look, we're going to send back your military in body bags, a lot of them. Okay, this is all out war to us if you attack us this time. We're not playing. We're not going to sit here and just be the victim. It's over with. Okay, it's going to be all out war. That's what they're saying. We're going to see. But if you notice, like I said, you do not move all that artillery, those warships, okay, for no reason like that. Okay, keep that in mind. And also keep in mind everything Donald Trump has said so far he has done when it comes to military action. Okay, pretty much. All right, let's go back to 2 Peter chapter 3. I'll read verse 10 again on down. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. And like I said, when you're watching this Iran situation, this is one of the main things. Okay, the least of the flock shall draw them out. Okay, and that war is going to create a World War III. Okay, to go up in flames. All right, verse 11. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved. Now you've been taught right. Okay, you have met the prophets. Okay, you know who the prophets are. Now you see that it's close. Okay, keep that in mind. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought you to be in holy conversation, in all holy conversation, in godliness, right? Changing your actions, being in a spirit of repentance, okay? Putting forth a reasonable effort to do better, okay? Faith, all right? Trust of the Lord, fear the Lord, all these different things. Verse 12. Looking for and hastening to the coming of the day of YAHAWASHI, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. That's that nuclear fire is going to be fervent, super hot, beyond hot. Verse 13. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for a new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. Wherefore, beloved, seeing that you look for such things, be diligent that you may be found of him in peace, without spot and blameless. Right, because we know that the slain of the Lord shall be many. It's going to be a lot of judgment coming. And what we're seeing is a sign of judgment coming. Okay, period, man. If this don't get your mind to be like, okay, Okay, let me change this. All right, let me change that. If this don't get your mind to think like that, I don't know what is, man. You gonna wait until a troop at your door? Okay, if you're gonna wait till then, you're an idiot. All right, that's too late, man. That is too late. Okay, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 45. I ended on that. Okay, because you got to keep in mind that the least of the flock has been getting drawn out. Okay, but ultimately the big draw out is coming. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord, that he hath taken against Babylon and his purposes, that he hath purpose against the land of the Chaldeans. Right. Okay, the Chaldeans talking about the elites. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. So they've been getting drawn out since 9/11. Okay, but there's going to be a huge draw out. Okay, there's going to be the last draw out for destruction, for all out destruction. Okay, YAHAWASHI, Yahweh's judgment, the Middle East. Everybody's getting drugged there. Okay, for that reason, man. All right, and we're watching it unfold. And the prophecy says, okay, the big thing, the big war is going to be caused, okay, dealing with Iran, dealing with Russia. Okay, we're seeing that. We're seeing that happening. So how much more do you need to see to fear Yahawah Bashim Yahawashi, to be prepared so that you're not caught like a thief in the night? Okay, we told y'all, man, keep watching Iran. Okay, it's a big hot spot. It's a big part of prophecy. Okay, when you talk about World War III, when you talk about the kingdom of heaven being established, when you talk about YAHAWASHI returning, okay, we are in that time. Okay, you got the beast happening, AI. Okay, you got troops, okay, trying to get set up on all the streets of America, of Babylon. How much more evidence do you need, man, that this is the end? All right, so keep watching the prophecies. This is war news. All right, keep watching. We're going to see. Okay, they could strike them any second. And like I said, well, like they said, that it's going to be a lot of U.S. body bags coming to the U.S. if they do. So we're going to see. With that, I hope you're edified. I want to give our praises and honor to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, QADASH, forgive me, spirit, to do this lesson. Double honors to the elders, great millstone, and shalom to you, Akim, out there that's doing the truth in all sincerity. Shalom.